I'm Jim Shirley. I'm currently serving as the Pershing County District Attorney. I've been there for 12 years now. With me tonight is my wife, Shirley. She is an English teacher at Pershing County High School. She's been teaching for about 10 years. Next to her is my son, Scott. He's my oldest boy. I have 4 boys. Not pictured here tonight is Robert, who's taller than Scott. It makes him mad every time I say that. And his brothers, Jameson and Ben. And on the end is my mom, Shirley himself. And they're much more charismatic than I am. They asked that we introduce ourselves and tell you a little bit about our background and then some of our accomplishments and why we're running for district court judge. And so I wanted to address each of those 3 areas. As far as what a judge does important things every day because he has to recognize that the people that come before him have individual lives, and they have individual things going on in their lives that are important. And there's nobody more important in our community than each of us. Each of us forms an individual cog in our community that's important. Teachers are important, stay-at-home moms are important, businessmen are important, even some attorneys, Jack, are important. But we're all important because there's different things that each of us bring to our society. And so a judge has to recognize that and has to be ready to do that. And the reason I'm running for judge is because I believe in that we are fundamentally, we're all protected by the Constitution. We have all guaranteed rights under the Constitution. And there are important things that are going to happen in the coming years that you need a judge that's prepared to handle those things. And I'm prepared. I have the experience. I have 12 years as a district attorney where I prosecuted everything from murder to barking dogs. Before that, I had private practice experience where I did all kinds of family law and all kinds of civil litigation and some criminal. And so I have a broad background and a broad base of experience that I draw on. I have done more abuse and neglect cases than probably anybody in northern Nevada. I've seen what happens when parents mistreat their children, and I believe children are our future. And children should be one of the prime things that the judges look at because they deal with so many family law cases and so many juvenile cases. And we should really be looking forward to what we can do for our children. Some of my greatest accomplishments personally would be I have a wonderful family. Of course, I credit my wife for how wonderful my boys are, but they're civilized, good, some men, some boys, that treat people with respect, and they're honorable, good kids. And as far as my professional life, I think that the greatest accomplishment is you go to your job every day and you do the best you can and you do it with integrity. What was the 3rd question? The reason I decided to seek office, I've covered legal and personal life. I think I've covered everything. I think what I would like to emphasize, having covered those questions, is that being elected to public office, it's about public service. You don't become an elected official, you should become a public servant. And I've exemplified that during my career. During the last 12 years, I've had an open door policy where people come to me frequently and ask for help. And we try to help everybody that we can within certain legal and ethical confines. And that's what being a public servant is about. And I've implemented great programs that help the constituents in Pershing County. And I look forward to doing that as a judge, of finding solutions to real world problems and helping people. Thank you very much. As I thought about this question, I realized that the greatest problem that faces our justice system is the fact that we have so many pro se litigants. And a pro se litigant is a person that represents themselves. In 1971, they did a study and 1% of people represented themselves in the legal system. In 1985, there was 47%. And today, it's over 75% in some areas. In family law, it's 90%. Yet our legal system has gotten more and more complex over the years. And I've been on the front line watching people come into my office as a district attorney, trying to figure out how to grapple with this complex legal system. Our district court judges have put together a website that has excellent forms on it. The problem is when they go to fill out the forms, it's really difficult for them to do. And I think that the ways that you handle that is still with technology. There's some information systems that could be done that would help. The next thing that needs to be done is the judges need to become more active. I've read a lot of articles about how the judges can do that. When a judge interviews a defendant, it's called, they ask certain questions when they're going to plead to a case. And they have actually set questions, how to ask those. And there's a lot of courts that are saying that they need to develop those for pro se litigants to help the judges, help the people that are representing themselves.
Okay, we got that one. What was the greatest obstacle you thought to this improvement?
And I think the greatest obstacle on this particular issue is finding ways to help them do that and developing, for example, better forms and developing a system to do that. To a certain degree, it's always money driven. There's always money issues. But with so many people seeking access on their own without legal counsel, we have to figure out a better way to make the courts deal with those people and help those people. And so money would be an obstacle. The other obstacle would be putting the resources together to help them. It'll take some time and effort. But if we do that, it'll help a lot. In some areas, they've done these help centers and stuff, but that costs a lot of money. And so I think it's going to have to be a computer-driven thing where it's not going to cost you, the taxpayers, a lot of money. It's just going to be something that really benefits people and helps them gain access to a system that really is foreign and requires a lot of training. And then the judges really need to educate themselves on how to better deal with these people that don't have law degrees and are there trying to help themselves. Can you imagine trying to do major surgery on yourself? Okay, I have 10 things that you should look for in a judge. One is legal ability, the ability to interpret and apply established legal principles to factual situations. Number two, trial or other similar experience that ensures that the judge follows the law and the courtroom procedures. Number three is integrity, making decisions based upon facts and the law, not upon who is before the court. Number four is ethical. A judge has to be ethical. And as we speak about integrity, the ways that judges maintain their integrity is by abiding by the ethical things, the ethical rules that we call the judicial canons. And those judicial canons govern how a judge should handle himself, and by abiding by that, you avoid the improprieties or the appearance of impropriety. Next would be a temperament, that they're calm, even-tempered, and that they're willing to be open-minded and yet willing to reach out and be able to reach a conclusion. That they have the ability to research the law, that they have a record of community service, that they can administrate, and that they have a devotion to the quality of justice. And finally, that they have professionally sound judgment. If you can get all those kind of qualities in a person, then you have a judge that will be doing a good job for the community. It'll cover the ethics that was asked in the call of the question. It'll cover the situation when political pressures are coming to bear on the judge to make a decision a certain way.
And real quick, in about 10 seconds, can you tell us, should that person be able to resist political pressure?
And that's exactly what I was talking about. If you're following your ethical rules, and one of the things I think that Judge Wagner does is really important, he doesn't read the paper. And if he's abiding by the ethics, he's not reading the paper, so he does.
Our sponsors
I realize
like
I'm covering that, but as a judge, you don't get into the politics of the community.
Okay.